When you think of global powerhouses, you probably think of the usual suspects: a handful of countries, a few familiar faces. But what if the next great leap forward didn't come from a sterile, high-tech lab, but from a dusty workshop in the Philippines? What if the kind of strength that could captivate the world wasn't built in a fancy training facility, but forged in the heart of a small provincial village? The stories you're about to hear weren't splashed across global headlines. By most standards, they weren't even supposed to happen. But they did. These are the unseen moments of Filipino grit and genius that left the world stunned. For nearly 100 years, the Philippines sent its best athletes to the Olympics. They fought hard, brought home silvers and bronzes, but that one, top prize, remained just out of reach. 97 years of waiting. 97 years of almost. Until one woman from Zamboanga City decided history had waited long enough. Her name is Hidilyn Diaz. In the summer of 2021, she stepped onto the world's biggest stage in Tokyo with the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders. And this wasn't just about lifting steel. It was about lifting the spirits of over 100 million Filipinos. Because of the pandemic, she was stranded in Malaysia for months, away from her family and forced to improvise her training by using bamboo sticks and water bottles when she couldn't get to a gym. Then came the final lift, the clean and jerk. To win, Hidilyn had to lift a weight she had never ever conquered in her career: 127 kilograms. Her biggest rival, China's world record holder, had just set a new Olympic benchmark, making the task seem impossible. With a roar that ripped through the quiet arena, she lifted. And in that one moment, she didn't just lift 127 kilos. She lifted a nation. The gold was hers. Hidilyn Diaz became the first ever Olympic gold medalist in Philippine history, setting an Olympic record for the clean and jerk and another for the total weight lifted. It was a victory so profound, it sent a clear message to the world: never, ever underestimate a Filipino heart. From the roar of an Olympic stadium, let's go back in time to a much quieter, more desperate scene: the rural Philippines in the 1940s. In villages with no electricity and no modern hospitals, a premature baby often had no chance of survival. They needed the steady warmth of an incubator, a piece of technology that was simply out of reach. But one Filipino doctor refused to accept that. Dr. Faye Del Mundo, a trailblazing pediatrician and the first woman ever admitted to Harvard Medical School, saw a solution where everyone else saw a dead end. If the technology couldn't get to her people, she would invent her own. Her idea was as simple as it was revolutionary. She took 2 bamboo laundry baskets, one smaller than the other, and nested them. In the space between the baskets, she tucked hot water bottles to create a steady, life-saving warmth. She even rigged up a makeshift hood and a way to supply oxygen. This was the bamboo incubator, an invention born not from a corporate lab, but from pure compassion and ingenuity. This humble device saved countless newborns in the most remote areas. Dr. Faye Del Mundo went on to establish the first pediatric hospital in the Philippines, selling her own home and belongings to fund it, and became the country's first female national scientist. But her greatest legacy might just be the quiet, ingenious warmth of her bamboo incubator, a stunning moment of Filipino resourcefulness that proved life-saving innovation doesn't always need a power grid, just a brilliant mind and a caring heart. What happens when you unleash the creatures of Philippine myth, like the man-eating aswang and the trickster tikbalang, onto a global audience? You get one of the most unexpected hits on Netflix. In 2021, the world was introduced to Tres, an animated series based on a beloved Filipino comic book. It follows Alexandra Trece, a detective solving supernatural crimes in a gritty, rain-soaked Manila. This show didn't play it safe. It was dark, it was complex, and it was unapologetically Filipino. The creators masterfully wove ancient folklore into a modern crime noir setting. Instead of generic monsters, viewers met horse-headed tikbalangs who drag race on highways and aswang clans running the city's criminal underworld. The series was a massive global effort, produced by teams in Singapore and the US, and animated in Korea, all to bring this uniquely Filipino story to the world. And the world was hooked. On its release, Trece shot into the top 10 lists on Netflix in 19 different countries, including the US, Canada, and Germany. It was a massive cultural moment that introduced Filipino mythology to an international audience, proving that our stories in our own language have a place on the world stage. Every so often, a sound bubbles up from a corner of the world and just takes over the internet. In 2024, that sound was boo dots. It's a wild, infectious electronic dance music genre that started in the internet cafes of Davao City. Known for its high-pitched whistle hooks and frantic percussion, budots had been a local favorite for years. The dance style is just as unique, a kind of freestyle ragdoll-like wiggle of the hips and arms that you know the second you see it. For a long time, it was just the soundtrack to Filipino street parties and local memes. But then, a remix called Emergency Budots absolutely exploded on TikTok. Suddenly, the whole world was trying to dance to it. The sound became the backdrop for hundreds of thousands of videos globally, with everyone from viral creators to international celebrities getting in on the trend. Budos went from a hyper-local genre to a worldwide sensation, proving there's a raw, creative energy brewing in the Philippines that can't be contained. It was a stunning, hilarious moment where a uniquely Pinoy beat, born from local humor, became the world's dance track. The Philippines is a global powerhouse in beauty pageants, producing some of the most stunning and articulate winners year after year. But the industry has always been ruled by a set of strict, unspoken standards. One of the biggest? Height. For decades, countless intelligent and beautiful Filipinas were shut out before they even had a chance, just for not meeting an arbitrary height requirement. Then, in a move that sent shockwaves through the pageant world, the Miss Universe Philippines organization did something revolutionary. They got rid of the height requirement. Starting in 2021, the country's most prestigious crown was suddenly open to women of all heights. This wasn't just a rule change. It was a direct challenge to the outdated beauty standards that had dominated for so long. The move was praised around the world. Miss Universe Australia 2020, Maria Thatil, who is 5'3" and placed in the top 10, celebrated the Philippines for its progressive step. The change swung the doors open for a new wave of Filipinas, proving that leadership and intelligence aren't measured in inches. Following this, the organization also opened the doors to mothers and wives, further cementing the Philippines not just as a pageant juggernaut, but as a global leader in redefining what it truly means to be a queen. From a single lift that ended a century of waiting, to a bamboo basket that saved lives, from mythical monsters on our TV screens, to a homegrown beat that got the entire planet dancing, and a quiet revolution that is redefining beauty for everyone. These are just a handful of the moments when Filipinos, often far from the global spotlight, have pushed boundaries, challenged expectations, and shown their unique brand of heart and genius. These stories prove that greatness isn't confined to the world's biggest stages or richest nations. It's found in the determined heart of an athlete, the resourceful mind of a doctor, and the vibrant creativity of an entire culture. The world might not always see it coming, but Filipino talent truly knows no bounds. Which of these stories surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you think these stories of Pinoy greatness deserve to be shared, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and help spread the word. Let's keep celebrating the unseen moments that make us all proud.